Hello everyone, this is CoolPro195 with a brand new unboxing video where I'll be unboxing this amazing little package right here from Hit Japan. So let's get straight to it. Really quick intro there. And this package, and yeah, I'm actually using a knife to unbox this because it's much quicker. And yeah, I'm just trying not to show the label because you know, could have stabbed myself then, but I didn't. Thank fuck for that. Yeah, I'm using one of these little knives, kind of shaky because like the video crack. Oh well, I might as well do this off, because then just makes it much easier. I apologize for that. Or perhaps it's better if I do it on the bottom. This tape is a bit of a bitch, but yeah, even though it's just normal tape. Yeah, and also I apologize if I sound like quite rough at the moment. I just recently caught a cold, which is fucked up, which is a piss take. And yeah, I'm just alright. So I dug in that with a knife, but then I don't want to damage the goods, so yeah. But anyways, now we're finally opening up the box. The rest of my, I just figured I'd open up the rest of my fingers so I don't risk damaging the goods inside. Well, yeah, basically. Yeah. Anyways, now time for the epic unraveling of this wonderful item we have here, hidden inside this legendary bubble wrap. No doubt from a package straight fresh from Japan. I just throw the box behind me. That'd be so funny. Anyways, wow, there's so much shit around here. Okay. Okay, those of you may notice this already, may know what this is already, but for those who don't, you're going to see once the bubble wrap has unraveled the package's true symbol, and you're already seeing a little bit of material here. Quickly unwrapping. And here we are, with the Japanese version of Rayman 1 for the Sega Saturn. Now this is an amazing collector's item that I have right here, and it's in really good condition. And according to the description it came complete, but in front I don't really see the spine card. Oh wait, here it is. He kept the spine card inside the actual jewel case, which you know, which kind of a little bit worried me there, because like but anyways, it doesn't matter. And also, like, some of you may notice that comparing to my previous unboxing video with of a Sega Saturn game, like usually you'd see, like, you can tell that there's a difference between the packaging of the Japanese Sega Saturn games and the European ones. Like for Japan, they use a jewel case like they do for the Japanese PS1 games, instead of a big, tall, hard case. And and I think they kind of got the idea of the spine cards from like the Japanese PS1 games, but I'm not entirely sure. But I think that was quite a big thing for Japan back then when it came to distributing their games and everything. And also still can't get over how nice and shiny this looks. Well, from my point of view, it looks kind of nice and shiny, but like it still looks great. And also the rating system is, well, obviously I don't understand it, but like it's got a real nice design to it as well. And they use like, and also like the way the Japanese Rayman, like they actually made a different logo style to it, and they say it in English up here, or and below they actually write in Japanese letters, which I believe is katakana. But I can't remember, like, well, I can't exactly remember, like, the terms for the type of letters Japanese use, but, like, feel free to let me know, because I'm kind of been going shaky on Japanese lately. And also, like, as for this spine card, it's also interesting how they have this, because it also shows the levels, well, a few of the levels behind as well. So, like, it's kind of makes the packaging more complete, and also waited to find, like, a copy of this with the actual spine card, because I like purchasing my items complete. And also, there is a Japanese PS1 version out there on eBay, and I would have purchased that as well, but the thing is, it doesn't come complete with a spine card, so I'll have to pass on that. And what do you know? Turns out they've shown more levels on here, but it doesn't matter. But the back is quite nice as well. It has a similar showcase to what the Japanese PS1 version shows, but in the Japanese PS1 version it shows kind of like beta screenshots that are like more earlier in development. Since, like, I don't know, the Japanese PS1 version, I played it on an emulator, and it actually feels like it's a prototype of the Sega Saturn version, which is basically a prototype to this. So yeah, and also another thing unique about the Japanese PS1 version is that it doesn't only just use this brand new logo art style, it uses a brand new remade cover as well. It has a very unique cover with, like, Rayman as in a different render that was, like, never seen in any of the other covers before. And so, like, I hope to find a complete copy of the PS1 Japanese version one day. But anyways, now I'm happy to have the Sega Saturn version. I'm just amazed to have a Japanese Sega Saturn version now. I just couldn't be happier. And the disc, as you see here, is kind of basic for the Japanese design, but it's still quite nice how they added Rayman in a spotlight over there, and with all the red logo, it really matches. Whereas, although the Japanese PS1 version looks different in terms of design with its discs and covers and everything, especially the disc, because the disc has like a full white background, which is I kind of actually prefer, because it adds kind of more background and contrast to it. But at least that's my opinion anyway. And also, for those of you who don't exactly know, like, Japanese games, well, they would usually do this for Japanese and American PS1 games, but for also Japanese Sega Saturn games, like, they use the manuals. Like, basically, the front cover you're seeing here is also the front page of the manual. So yeah, and it's kind of, let me just slide out and I'll show you the contents of the manual. I'm just getting kind of stuck on the hinges there, but I think I could slide that out through there. Yeah, that's cool. And correct me if I'm wrong, but usually they show the back of the manual like black with the Ubisoft logo, and but it's interesting how they managed to, like, give it like a white appearance for a change. I don't know, it's something about, like, the Japanese covers that really interest me in comparison to the Western covers. Anyways, let's go through all the manuals that they have right here. I see they have kind of a wonderful, unique contents page and everything. Well, clearly it's in Japanese, but the design and everything, it just, I don't know, it kind of looks more, well, this kind of looks more like a circus in a way, but because of the patterns and everything. And it's more of a Sega Saturn startup and everything. Oh yeah, by the way, clearly you'd only be able to play this on a Japanese Sega Saturn, but thank fuck my Sega Saturn is a modded Sega Saturn, so clearly I didn't buy a modded region 3 Sega Saturn for no reason. So yeah, I'm glad to have bought that as well as this wonderful gem of an item that I have right here. And here we have more of the actual controls telling you how to play the game. Well, just like saying which actions you can do by pressing which button. As it basically says. I mean, I know it does seem quite basic, but then again, this is 1995 kind of things we're talking about. It's like 1995 concepts. And here we have actual screenshots of the game. As you see, like there's Rayman standing in front of his normal logo, where you'd usually see, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, it does, this is gonna sound really stupid, but the way like they distributed this in Japan is that the actual game has the opening, well, all the cutscenes in Japanese, but the rest of the text is actually in English, which is completely ironic, and it's the same for the Japanese PS1 version as well. I mean, it's literally the same thing for the Japanese PS1 version, and this is kind of how they would usually have like the Japanese, like the Sega Saturn, like menus or whatever, but you don't really see the text in blue, which is kind of like, which is basically another one of the interesting differences that they have. I mean, I know there are kind of minor differences compared to the Western versions like UK and US, but it's still, there's still a great collector's item, and it's still like a great version to play. And and for that occasion, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my good old friends on YouTube, Old Classic Gamer, as the Japanese Sega Saturn version of Rayman 1 is his favourite version of Rayman 1, his overall definitive version of Rayman 1, simply because of all the art styles, all the unique backgrounds they use in the Sega Saturn version in general, and the pitched up sound effects, which kind of pissed a few people off. But yeah, it's but yeah, it's still like, it's another way to make like, I don't know, add some more like variety to how unique this version can be. And it's great how they actually, here they're showing like the exit sign where you complete the level. Nice how they actually show screenshots like of the game, like filtered or some sort like that. And then there's like the dropout sign where whenever you'd drop out of a level or something, if you'd just like if you only entered the level just to rescue a few cages or rescue a few antitoons by breaking a few cages that you needed to backtrack to. But yeah, this is in sorry about that, but yeah, this is quite interesting that they did that. I mean, it adds more variety to the manual as well. Like, I mean, it's like I said in my Japanese Spyro unboxing video, they really make this more unique. Wow, and they actually included the whole registration card in here as well. Funny how they put it in the manual. But yeah. But anyways, that doesn't matter. Okay, now they're showing like more screenshots of the game, like on the lives and the things you collect. Yeah, they're called tings. I'm not speaking broken English here. Those blue bubbles are actually called tings. But yeah, and they actually look more vivid than they do on like the PS1, like on the back of the PS1 box. From what I've seen, like the colors actually look much more vivid. I don't know if the Japanese actually rendered this at a higher quality, or maybe they just used like a different color filter to render these images. But again, I gotta give them a lot of props for that. The Japanese Sega Saturn version is definitely a must-have, and even better when you get it complete. Anyways, yeah, just here it shows like the kind of world you're in, the map. The top text shows the Dream Forest, which means the world that you're in, and the bottom text is the actual level that you're going to. And here we have Rayman taking a picture, which means he's getting a checkpoint on. There's that famous continue screen where Rayman has lost all his lives, but has 5 chances left for a continue. Or some people use cheat codes and try and get 10 or 99 or some shit, but but in all honesty, I don't really need to use cheat codes, man. But then again, Rayman 1 is a hard game, so play at your own risk, for those of you who are new to Rayman. Anyways, and now they're showing like how to save the game over here as well, which is also really helpful. I mean, clearly it's Japanese, but then again, it's like, like English people, if they're buying this, clearly they can just tell by the screenshots. They don't really need to read the Japanese writing. And now here we have all of the items over here. These things over here are these things like I've mentioned before, and this trophy over here is a life that Rayman gains. And these P's over here is basically, they represent Rayman's health. They're the kind of hit points that he gets. But like this, but if you get a big P, it's actually what do you call it? The massive P gives you it actually fills up your health meter entirely, whereas if you get like a P with one little yellow point around it, you only get 1 point up on the meter. But sometimes you can come across of these that have 2, so the ones with 2 will clearly give you 2. And as for the S, over here, this S, like, you would see this like floating around a fist that you collect in order to get a speedy fist punch. So yeah, and over here, this is the actual gold fist that they have. The gold fist, I believe, gives more power in the punch that Rayman gives. And I think here they're like showing how you can use those plums that hang off those vines in the jungle levels. Like basically you hit it off and then you can punch it into the water and Rayman can just ride it, and it's one of the most fun things in the game as well. And finally over here is the super helicopter file. I believe that's how it's pronounced, where Rayman can collect in order to gain the super helicopter power in the Blue Mountains, and and also it turns Rayman's hair like purple and like blue and purple at the same time, but only whenever he's doing his helicopter power. Well, technically it's only like that for the Atari Jaguar version, PS1 version, and Sega Saturn version. But from the PC version, sorry about that, from the PC version onwards, I don't understand why they decided to make the colors normal, but especially for the PC version in particular, because that one's like PC should have been able to handle that. Because clearly it's more powerful than the Atari Jaguar, PS1 and Sega Saturn put together, especially back in 1995. There was no excuse for that, but they did what they did, so we can't change it. And now here we are, showing like Rayman with his, whoa, that was quick. But anyways, now here we are where Rayman stumbles upon Battilla the Fairy, who gives him all his power-ups, starting off with a fist punch and helicopter, fist punch, then hanging, and then the helicopter power, and then last but not least, the running power. And here just basically tells how Rayman can punch a cage to free all of his Electoons, and you must like break all of these in order to complete the game. Especially because if you complete Rayman 1, you have to complete 100%. Like, there's no way of beating the final boss if you don't like break all the cages. So yeah, without breaking all the cages, the furthest you can get is defeating Mr. Scops and not Mr. Dark. So yeah. And here kind of shows what I explained before about the super helicopter power, where Rayman's hair turns blue and purple, but over here it just shows his hair in purple. Well, in this image in particular, in the render, telling by the color, it looks pink, because it's I think it's because of the color filter or something, but I'm not entirely sure. But that's probably the reason why. And here we are, I think they're taking more pictures of Rayman over here. With like Rayman in the checkpoint. I don't know, I think this is kind of repeating itself now. And there's the magician over there. I'm not sure exactly what they're saying, but there's a magician's hat where Rayman can just grab. Well, it doesn't grab, he just goes right next to it, then the magician pops out and then he gives the required amount of things in order to enter a bonus level and earn an extra life. So yeah, time to skip over to that. Oh, now this is actually really interesting. They show like the actual all the worlds of the game from the first to last. Basically over here they have first off they start off with the Dream Forest, and even shows the boss of each world as well. Like for the Dream Forest, the boss is I believe his name is Angus, if according to like some YouTube videos that I've seen a long time ago. But if that's not the case, then otherwise it's the second mosquito that Rayman fights. And in Bandland over here is Mr. Sax, who is like a giant saxophone blowing all his notes out and all that shit. And over here is Mr. Stone, who's like one massive rock guy who chucks a bunch of rocks at you and calls his stone dogs on you. So yeah, it's a more rough area where you're fighting Mr. Stone, but like he's not much of a hard boss, but back in the day it was quite difficult. And in Picture City, the boss over here is Space Mama, who is the final who is like the second, who's basically like the main boss of Picture City after like this, like after the mini boss, well 2 levels after the mini boss that you fight, who is Viking Mama. And in the Caves of Scops, as I mentioned his name before, is Mr. Scops. And finally in the last world, in Candy Chateau, I believe, but that's a French name, but yeah, is Mr. Dark. But for some reason they don't show his face in the Japanese version. I'm not entirely sure why. Well, maybe because they wanted to make it look more mysterious than it is, and they want you to play the game to find out the final boss, which is which is, I don't know, kind of makes you wanna actually adventure into the game and actually try your hardest to actually beat the game, even though Rayman 1 is a hard game all by itself. But I've had many attempts. Oh, and here we are, that's the end of the manual of just all the stuff that worked on it, programming and all that, and animation, and and also I've got to say this manual really tells a lot about the game already. Even, well, not just about the game, but about this like version in particular. And another thing I haven't mentioned yet is that also the Sega Saturn version, and this doesn't even have to be the Japanese version either. Oh fuck, the manual's been a complete bitch. But yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, like the Sega Saturn version, like all by itself, it does, and like I said, this doesn't have to be the Japanese version either. But the Sega Saturn version, all by itself, like no matter what region, European, American, or Japanese, the Sega Saturn version altogether is like the version that has the most animation, has the most visual effects, which is another reason why some people like old classic gamer tend to find this version to be the definitive version, and believe it or not, it's one of the reasons why I also like this version of the game very much. But I don't know, like part of me like prefers like the Japanese PS1 version, because it's even more unique with the more kind of unique sound effects which kind of sound beta to, which kind of like, they sounded like they were built from the Atari Jaguar version or something, but yeah, but at the same time, like, it's, for me it's that situation where like I can't exactly decide which version is better altogether, but I'd say that the PS1 version, the Japanese PS1 version, is better in that aspect. But anyways, people, this was actually an amazing unboxing video. I didn't really expect to have such an in-depth commentary, but as a Rayman fan who's like been playing Rayman since 1995, especially since that was the year I was born, like, since I'm a lifelong Rayman fan, I mean, it was wonderful to actually get my hands on such an amazing, prestigious item like this. Therefore, I would, and also had a lot of experience with this game back in the past as well. So yeah, people, don't go judging saying this game is easy, because this game is hard as fuck. Wait until you play yourself. Well, yeah, maybe the forest levels are easy, but try playing like the mountain levels. Try being in the Blue Mountains or Picture City or the Caves of Scops. Like, I think the first ever trouble I had with the game was with Viking Mama, but yeah. Anyways, this is I think I'm rambling now, but anyways, apologies, but I had a lot to say with this, about this wonderful item, and it's also it was also amazing to make this unboxing video, because it's interesting to share my knowledge of all these Rayman fans that have been following me like all these years, and the fact that I've had a lot of experience with this game as well. And yeah, I also personally myself, I recommend you picking up one of these if you're a collector like myself. Yeah, I recommend you picking one of these amazing items, especially like if they're not factory sealed but in like mint condition like this. Then yeah, I totally recommend you getting this complete. But if you want to get it like incomplete, you just want to get it just to play it, that's fine, but I personally recommend getting it complete because it's much better for the collection. And that's just the kind of person I am, because I like my items complete and everything. But yeah, the Japanese version is also a wonderful game, and if you really can't be bothered to play it, then like try and find an ISO online and play it on the emulator. But anyways, that's basically this unboxing video complete. I hope you sorry about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Fuck's sake. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and feel free to, don't forget to feel free to like, comment down below in the description to leave your feedback on what you thought of this video and all of my insights that I have on this game and the Japanese version itself. And also feel free to share it around with others in order to see what they think. But anyways, this is a wonderful video that I have brought here, and I'm glad to have shared all this wonderful knowledge with you people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. It's been amazing doing this video, right? Yeah. So stay tuned for future. Fuck, I can't even speak today. Like, stay tuned for future projects that I have upcoming on this channel. Laters, everyone.